Ladies and gentlemen, I bid you a most cordial welcome and extend my deepest gratitude for your presence on this extraordinary voyage to the outermost frontiers of human understanding. We inhabit a world swaddled in the comforting illusion of strict causality. Switch off the lamp and the room sinks into darkness. Release the teacup and it falls, shatters, and is gone forever. Past begets present, present begets future, an impeccable linear procession. A vast clockwork conceived by Sir Isaac Newton in which every cog turns precisely as foreordained. Yet that serene order is merely the thinnest veneer stretched over a yawning chasm of primordial chaos we have come to call quantum reality. Suppose I told you that a choice you make in this very instant could reach backward through time and rewrite an event already concluded, already sealed in the annals of history. This is not the fevered screenplay of some cinematic fantasy. It is the enduring nightmare that has robbed the finest minds in physics of sleep for more than a century. We are not speaking of mere curiosities. We are speaking of the total, vertiginous collapse of logic itself, where the bedrock laws of the universe are not gently bent but pulverized into dust. When humanity first peered into the submicroscopic realm of electrons and photons, we expected to find the ultimate bricks of existence. Instead we found a spectral fog of probability, a realm of lunatic paradoxes where nothing is solid and everything is possible until the moment it is seen. Quantum mechanics, the most successful theory ever devised by the human intellect. The silent foundation of every smartphone, every laser, every magnetic resonance imager, harbors within its flawless equations a philosophical abomination. We possess formulae that predict the behavior of particles with unearthly precision. Yet we remain utterly blind to what those particles actually are. It is as though the universe handed us its operating manual written in a language no one can truly read. And when we struggle to decipher it, we collide with paradoxes that threaten the very notion of existence itself. Let us begin our descent with the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment, widely regarded as the most outrageous demonstration of nature's contempt for our intuitions. A single photon is fired toward a pair of slits. If no one attempts to determine which slit it passes through, it behaves as a wave, interfering with itself and painting the classic striped interference pattern on the far screen. Place detectors at the slits, however, and the photon instantly chooses to behave as a particle, passing through one slit only and producing two clumps, no interference whatsoever. This is strange enough, but in the delayed choice version, first proposed by John Archibald Wheeler in 1978 and realized in laboratories from 1999 onward, with ever more sophisticated incarnations culminating in the landmark entangled photon experiments of 2017 to 2023, the decision whether to measure the path is made after the photon has already passed the slits and, in some configurations, after it has already struck the detection screen. Common sense screams that the past is fixed, irrevocable, yet the experimental record is merciless. If the which path information is erased, even after the photon has arrived, the interference pattern reappears as though the photon had never been observed at all. Our choice in the present reaches backward and rewrites the photon's past. History, it seems, is not a completed manuscript but a palimpsest continually scraped clean and reinscribed by decisions yet to be made. The disquiet deepens when we confront the central enigma of quantum theory, the act of measurement itself. In our everyday world, the moon is there whether anyone looks or not. In the quantum realm, a system's properties remain indeterminate, superposed across multiple contradictory states, until observed. This gives rise to Eugene Wigner's famous 1961 thought experiment, Wigner's friend, which ceased to be merely philosophical when, in 2019 and again in refined form in 2021 to 2023, experimentalists using polarization entangled photons effectively realized it in the laboratory. One observer, the friend, measures a photon and obtains a definite outcome. For her, reality has crystallized. To Wigner outside the laboratory, until he speaks to his friend, both she and the photon remain in superposition. when they finally compare notes. Whose reality is the true one? The experiments demonstrate, uncomfortably, that both descriptions are valid within their respective frames. There is no single, objective set of facts about the universe. Your reality may literally diverge from mine at the moment of observation. We believe we share one cosmic stage. Yet each of us may be performing a solitary drama while consensus remains the frailest of illusions. Time itself, the one-way river we trusted above all else, also dissolves. The fundamental equations of physics are time-symmetric. They make no distinction between past and future. In the block universe interpretation of general relativity, past, present, and future coexist eternally in a four-dimensional manifold. Your entire life, from first breath to last, is already etched into that immutable crystal. The sensation of, now, moving forward is merely consciousness sliding along the time axis like a spotlight across a frozen landscape. Quantum mechanics pushes the horror further. Future measurements can, through entanglement, determine past states. The universe appears to permit retrograde causation, those eerie premonitions, those impossible coincidences we occasionally experience. Might they be faint echoes of a future reaching back to touch us? And then there is entanglement, Einstein's spooky action at a distance. Now confirmed beyond all doubt by decades of Bell test experiments, culminating in the flawless loophole-free demonstrations of 2015 to 2017 and the 2022 Nobel Prize awarded to Aspect, Clauser, and Zeilinger. Two particles, once entangled, remain instantaneously correlated no matter how far apart they travel, even across billions of light-years. Measure one, and the other responds at once. Faster than light could possibly travel between them. Locality, the principle that nothing can influence anything else without a signal passing through the intervening space, is simply not true. At the deepest level, the universe is non-local. Separation itself is illusory. Experiments in quantum, teleportation of information and even nascent demonstrations of entanglement-based coordination between human brains hint that the boundary between self and other, here and there, may be far more porous than we ever imagined. Matter itself disintegrates under scrutiny. In the macroscopic world, an object and its properties are inseparable. In 2014–2019 experiments inspired by the quantum Cheshire Cat, a nod to Lewis Carroll, physicists using neutron interferometry succeeded in separating a particle's spin from its spatial trajectory. The neutron traveled along one path while its magnetic moment took another. The grin remained while the cat vanished. Matter is not solid stuff at all. It is a loose confederation of properties that can be peeled apart and reassembled at will. The ultimate battlefield is the event horizon of a black hole, where general relativity and quantum mechanics wage war over the fate of information. Relativity declares that anything falling past the horizon is lost forever. Quantum theory insists that information can never be destroyed. If information vanishes, the unitary evolution of quantum states, the very foundation of the theory, collapses. Recent breakthroughs, 2020 to 2025, employing the ADS, CFT correspondence and the replica wormhole calculations of the page curve have shown that information does indeed escape. Encoded in subtle correlations within Hawking radiation, the paradox is resolved, but only by accepting that our three-dimensional universe is a holographic projection from a two-dimensional surface, an idea first proposed by Gerard T. Hooft and Leonard Susskind in the 1990s and now, 3 decades later, elevated to near-orthodox status among theorists. Yet the darkness that most haunts us is not hidden in subatomic shadows, it is written across the night sky itself. Why is the heavens black? Olbers' paradox, posed in its modern form in the early 19th century, is devastating in its simplicity. In an infinite, eternal, static universe filled with stars, every line of sight must end on a stellar surface. The sky should blaze like the face of the sun. That it does not reveals 3 merciless truths. First, the universe had a beginning 13.8 billion years ago. Light from the most distant regions has not yet reached us. Second, the universe is expanding, accelerating under the influence of dark energy, so that distant light is red-shifted into invisibility. Third, every observation of the cosmos is an observation of the past. The James Webb Space Telescope does not show us the universe as it is now. It shows us ghosts, galaxies as they existed when the universe was mere hundreds of millions of years old. We are imprisoned within the light cone of the Big Bang, forever cut off from the living present of the wider cosmos. When we weave these threads together, from the uncertainty of a single electron to the darkness that swallows the sky, we arrive at a truth both humbling and exhilarating. Our intuitive notions of space, time, matter, and causality are not the fabric of reality, they are survival heuristics evolved on the African savanna. Quantum mechanics and cosmology are not merely sciences, they are the gentlest possible reminders that human perception is a narrow slit through which we glimpse an abyss. Reality may not be out there, waiting to be discovered. It may be co-created in the perpetual dance between observer and observed. The paradoxes are not flaws in nature, but signposts urging us beyond anthropocentric illusion toward a deeper order we cannot yet conceive. Until the final unification of quantum mechanics and gravity, perhaps in string theory, perhaps in something stranger still, we must learn to live gracefully with mystery. And perhaps that very mystery, that vertiginous sense of standing at the edge of the incomprehensible, is the eternal flame that propels our species forward. Yet the darkness of the night sky is not only a message about the past, it is a prophecy about the future. The second law of thermodynamics, entropy must increase, condemns the cosmos to ultimate equilibrium. We inhabit the brief and glorious Stelliferous Era, the age of starlight. In the far future, 10 to the power of 14 years hence, the hydrogen fuel will be exhausted. No new stars will ignite. Red dwarfs, the longest lived, will gutter out one by one over trillions of years. The sky will fall eternally black, lit only by the faint infrared size of cooling white dwarfs and the occasional collision of degenerate corpses. Proton decay, predicted by grand unified theories and constrained by experiment to lifetimes greater than 10 to the power of 34 years, will eventually dissolve even those remnants. Ordinary matter will evaporate into photons and lightweight leptons. Black holes alone will reign, slowly evaporating via Hawking radiation over 10 to the power of 100 years and more until the last one explodes in a whimper of elementary particles. What remains is the dark era, heat death, absolute zero. Maximum entropy, no gradients, no structure, no change, and therefore no meaningful time. Faced with such cosmic desolation, we are driven back to the most ancient question: if everything ends in frozen silence? If every memory, every monument, every trace of consciousness is finally erased, does anything matter? The answer is not despair but reverence. Precisely because the universe is finite and our tenure within it fleeting. Every moment of awareness is unspeakably precious. We are the universe become conscious of itself in the narrow interval between the Big Bang and heat death, the brief, miraculous convergence of matter and energy that gives rise to thought, love, wonder, and sorrow. This realization demands a profound reorientation of values. We are not conquerors of the cosmos but privileged witnesses to its most luminous epoch. Every scientific discovery, from the double helix to the detection of gravitational waves, is an act of defiance, inscribing the signature of mind upon a reality that would otherwise remain mute. Science is the ultimate rebellion of order against entropy, of meaning against oblivion. Moreover, the knowledge of our common fate should dissolve the petty divisions we erect between ourselves. Before the immensity of cosmic time, borders, ideologies, and empires are laughably transient. We are all passengers on a fragile mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam, bound together by the slender thread of a habitable biosphere. Solidarity is not mere sentiment. It is the only rational strategy for a civilization that wishes to keep its candle alight a little longer against the gathering dark. In the remotest future, our descendants, or whatever intelligences succeed us, may migrate to the last red dwarfs, carrying with them not only technology but stories of a time when the night sky blazed with 1 billion suns. Those stories will be their most precious inheritance, the ember of hope passed across the gulfs of night. And perhaps, in the quest for the final theory, we shall discover a way to tunnel through the heat death itself, to seed new universes, to engineer baby cosmoses with different constants, to escape the iron grip of the second law. The probability may be vanishingly small, yet as long as minds exist to ask the question, hope remains. So let us close in the hush of the night. Do not fear the darkness. It is the velvet backdrop against which the brief glory of light is displayed. Every photon that kisses your retina tonight has journeyed across millions or billions of years to deliver its ancient message. We live in the one slender epoch when the universe is cool enough for galaxies yet warm enough for life, an exquisite, improbable instant between fire and ice. Cherish it, live worthy of it. We are the ashes of long-dead stars who have learned to wonder why. That is our crown, our glory, our defiance. Even if the final destination is silence, here and now our voices ring out across the void, proclaiming that for one brief, radiant moment the universe knew itself. Thank you for accompanying me on this profound meditation upon the nature of reality and our place within it. May these reflections bring you not only illumination but also a deep and abiding peace in the face of the infinite. Until we meet again beneath the stars, farewell.